Okay, well, I know during one of my undergrad classes, our professor actually gave us written tips from students in previous classes who have taken the online class. Just, be aware of your time management, be aware of when assignments are due, keep a planner. And that really helped, especially for people who probably hadn't taken an online class, what you need to be doing, how to stay on task. One professor also, this past summer, he would do a voiceover, he would talk while the slides are up there just to reiterate what was going on in the readings, so you understand it better, and you can it's kind of like interaction because he's there. You can't really ask questions, but he's still talking to you and making it like you were there. So that helped a lot. And then, of course, the discussion boards where you can add on to what people say so you can see their ideas and how they play off of your ideas, and it just builds a good community within the class.
Strategies besides the discussion boards and WebEx meetings, I've had professors do voiceovers on their notes in the modules, which makes it really easier to understand what they're expecting, because you can read a module and you can read the instructions, and the nuances may not be as explicit to myself as it was to the professor, but by having that professor read over it, you get a better perspective of what's going on. In our discussion boards, obviously we can type, but we've been given the opportunity to do video chats as well, particularly when we were introducing ourselves, which that was my very first assignment in online class, so I kind of jumped on that to do something a little bit different. And it was really neat to do that, and you get to see everybody's personality through the different ways they do it, because obviously some people will go in, type their discussion post, get in and get out because they have a very set number of times, where I'm a full-time student as a principal fellow, so I have a little bit more time on my hands where I can get in and be a bit more interactive.
The instructor we would send her like weekly reflection papers, and she would literally respond to almost everything we said in there. And also, she really did a good job of kind of staying out of the discussion board presence, so that were forced to interact with each other, which was actually good, because I think if she had come in and been a presence there, we wouldn't have interacted with each other as much as we did.
They both have been extremely different. The one in undergrad never had any social presence whatsoever. It was, you would go in, see a module, tell you what you had to do that week, you would complete it. We had to do a final that was in the classroom, but you went in and you did it on your own time in the library. So it still wasn't any social presence. This semester we do have we've had WebEx sessions, and we do talk back and forth through blogs, but other than that, there hasn't been a ton of interaction with one another. And the WebEx sessions, one of them I couldn't even get into. I was using a different browser, so I feel there's a lot of issues there too. Even if they're trying to promote social presence, there's always can be issues with the
difficult
technology.
question, because my experiences online have not been as positive, and I'm not saying they have been always negative, but they have not been what I was looking forward to when I took online classes. And it's mainly because I think it lacked that community environment that I wanted, and that's why I prefer to take traditional classes instead, because I think I learn best from not just my professors and learning through my activities that we do in class and outside of class, but also from one another. And so in the traditional classes, you get to sit down and talk to each other and discuss new ideas and new topics, and that's one of the things that I think lacks at least a lot of in online learning. And so I think ideally that aspect of discussion and kind of community and like involvement with one another and connecting new ideas and new topics, and critiquing one another and providing positive and feedback and negative feedback sometimes on the things that you're doing in your classes is what would happen on an online
One of my
class.
faculty members is really great about having us do video responses, which really, I think, helps create that community in the sense of I get to see that person's face when they're talking about it, and you can see how animated they get and how passionate they get, where sometimes when you're just reading the discussion board, it's sort of like, well, are they really care about this, or they're just doing it to get it done? And then we have the great opportunity, then we respond to everyone through a video response too. So then you get to hear what your peers say back to you. It's like, gosh, I could tell how excited you were. So I think that's a good one. And then oftentimes now we can set up our own, they help us set up our own WebEx sessions. So they put us in groups, and then we get to go on WebEx ourselves to kind of do our work that way. And so it's nice when we have group projects, we don't all have to get together, but we do have that WebEx section to talk about our assignment, and we're required to go to the WebEx group session, which helps too. So I think those are two really great ways.
Apart from WebEx, which does allow the students, to be FaceTimed in and all those other tools, we've just done the YouTube videos and the online discussion board postings, and I think the trouble is I don't know that there is a better solution, and I think right now we're using the technology that we have to its fullest capacity, but for me, for learners such as myself, it's not enough to feel fully involved and integrated into the curriculum, and I don't feel connected. So I don't know that I have a good answer for what else we should do, but I know to me I'm not fully satisfied so far with online learning. While I know other students think it's ideal for reasons of, travel or location or convenience, I don't think it satisfies all different learning styles' needs to only be able to interact, via technology.